Hello, and welcome to this video. Welcome to this recording. My name is Stephen, and I have created the House of Kanaz. This is a project that I have been dreaming of for years, and it's a work in progress. But my goal is to have a space in which I can use different modalities. Today it's going to be tarot cards. Talk about issues in the world, maybe issues with yourself, and ways to work through them, ways to think about them. Anyway, so today what I want to do is I want to do a tarot reading that is for the upcoming year, 2026. As I film this, it is Saturday, November 29th. It is 11:18 p.m. I've started a little late, but this has been on my mental to-do list and felt called tonight to just do it. Now, before I do that spread, I want to just pick a few cards to give me a sense of what do I need to think about? What do I need to focus on for this reading? Like, are there certain things, certain guide points that the cards can give me to make this reading, the next reading, good? Let's see. So the first card I got is love. This is a Venus in Cancer card. And look, the cups are flowing. So I'm gonna read this as sharing my love of tarot with you all. This is perhaps a primary directive here. Then I got the Fool. This is the first card, the zeroth card in the deck. And the Fool starts out the whole tarot card deck, right? And I am starting on this venture. And when you start something, some people may think that you are a fool, right? Like the people that don't want to do anything new. But the fool, you kind of, if you think about the traditional Rider Waite deck, right? The fool is depicted as someone that's walking off of a cliff, right? He's trusting his faith. And that's what I'm doing here. So I'm gonna use my little stands. Make sure you can see this all. And then the it's really good reading. The third card I got is Victory. This is a Six of Wands card, a Jupiter in Leo card that is very triumphant. This is saying, yeah, like just trust yourself and share your knowledge. So I start off this reading with this mini reading just because if you are new to tarot, if this is something that you are interested in picking up yourself, you can really be as creative as you want with your questions. You have to be careful of how you word your questions and make sure that you recognize your own free will. But I often just ask the cards for advice or things that um, I should hear. And these messages of love, of new beginnings, of victory I think all in all, that's a really great reading. Okay, so now on to the main event. What I want to do tonight is a reading that I started doing last year, where essentially what I did is I picked one card for each month and really just thought about the energies of that month. I also study astrology, and I haven't gone through all of 2026, but it is, astrologically speaking, it is a landmark year. There's a lot going on that, in astrology, the rarer the thing, the more important, the more pertinent and prominent that thing will be in the news in our lives. And so there is something that is quite rare that's happening that happens like 2 to 3 times in a lifetime. That is the conjunction of Saturn and Neptune. And I've been thinking about this conjunction happening for years. This has been on my mind. And it doesn't perfect, it's not exact until mid February. So I think it's like February 20th, if I remember off the top of my head, somewhere around there. The 20th, 21st, 22nd, that's when it gets exact. And, the last time that that happened was 1989. So that correlated with the fall of the Soviet Union, the beginning, the fall of the Berlin Wall, which, the Soviet Union slowly collapsed in the months and years after that. So the one before that was around the time of Stalin's death, and the time before that, I believe, was a Russian Revolution. So there's often like world changes. It is something that certainly seems to affect Russia a lot in particular, but it is happening at 0 degrees of Aries. And that is the world that's on the world axis. That is very prominent. I really don't see how this can happen and it not affecting all of our lives, especially as things seem to escalate in the world. I feel like, this event is representing a crescendo. And not to say, like, do I think something's going to happen on that date? Probably not. It's more about the coming months, right? Like, there's going to be an apex that's happening in the coming months that is kind of an end of an era. The fact that it's happening at 0 degrees Aries. That's the beginning of the zodiac. Again, like the fool. So to me, I've always thought about this as like, this is hitting the reset button on something. Like there's something major that's changing, like some structure that is changing. That's what that represents. And, depending on how that all falls in your chart, it could be a fantastic time for you. It could be really magical. But for what's happening out in the world with world leaders, I think that it spells change. So let's do this. So again, each card that I pull is going to represent a month. So January, let me share with you all the action. the all right, so now we're at May. September. So each of the months, and I feel inspired to keep pulling. So, yeah, any other bits of like overarching um, bits of information? This might be the largest spread I have done. Let's see. We we have. I'm gonna make some space. All right. So January, we have the three of discs. So you see here, there's a trine, this triangle here. This is the works card. And this is a Mars in Capricorn. If you think about Mars in Capricorn, that's like get shit done type of energy. That is someone who is determined. They are making things happen. And again, this trine makes me feel about like in astrology, trines are easy aspects. There's a flow of energy. So there's something here that like a synergistic thing between these sources on this card to make the work possible, to make it happen. Okay. Then interesting. February. So February is when all of that action is happening astrologically, where in January, this is when Neptune is leaving Pisces for good. Again, I'm using Western tropical zodiac. So if you're looking at sidereal astrology, I'm not following that. So um, again, January is when Neptune is leaving Pisces. That will be the last time it is in Pisces in our life, right? Be 150 years until Pisces is back until Neptune is back into Pisces. So February is when that action is happening where both Saturn and Neptune are leaving Pisces, right? They're conjoining in Aries. And this card, the Aeon, this is unique to this deck. But this is an upgrade. This is about recognizing your inner voice, listening to your inner voice, having discernment. That's what this card is representing. So there is this union of perhaps your conscious and your subconscious, or how sometimes people like to call like masculine side and your feminine side. There's something of a union here in which you're able to operate um within a field of discernment. There's there's that feeling to this. So again, this card, especially like it's a major arcana card, it is representing like a major transformation. That is apropos of a major astrological event happening in February. Okay, March. The Three of Swords, sorrow. Look at that. March is not going to be an easy month. That's what this is suggesting. And after that astrological event of February, where again, this is painting possibilities. This is like perhaps long term what that could be, and it's that beginning, possibly. March seems to be more of a difficult month. Um, so there's sorrow. This is the sorrow card. If you're thinking about swords, swords are mental. So there could be a lot of uncertainty, especially if I'm thinking about on the world stage. You could also apply this to your life, but I'm thinking on the world stage, this is a card that if something major is happening, there is, yeah, not, there's uncertainty. Maybe there's violence, who knows? But look at those clouds. That's dark. That's it's not a really easy energy. Yeah. Okay. So far, January looks good, February looks good, but again, the March is looking to be more difficult than that follows with April, which is the Five of Cups. This is the disappointment card. So, this is a Mars in Mercury card. January was a Mars in Capricorn card. This is a Mars in Scorpio card. None of the cups are flowing, right? This isn't a good moment as well. March, I should like start using these things. March was about our thoughts because it's our swords, right? So the thoughts, not so great, right? Like you're going through something difficult. Cups is about our emotions. How do we feel? We're disappointed. These two are going together, suggesting that springtime might not be an easy period. Again, because January and February are when there's the shifts, and then these are, I think, the ripples of that shift that's happening. May, we get the Four of Swords. So that's kind of interesting that March, we had the Three of Swords. Now we're going up one to the Four of Swords. This is the Truce card. So all of those swords are pointed to the same point, to the same direction. So there's something in which, again, we're thinking about something and perhaps coming to a conclusion. We're coming to a truce of understanding because the story is that March and April, difficult months. There's things going on. And then we come to a little bit of an understanding, something maybe stabilizes. This is a Jupiter in Libra card. So again, there is that Jupiter expansion of growth. We're growing out of perhaps a state of worry and disappointment. We shall see what the story is. Then we have June. This is the success card, the Six of Dis. And this is a Moon in Taurus card. I've noticed that I have a lot of people, I've known a lot of people in my life with Moon in Taurus, and they can be quite stubborn at times. And this card of success, what's interesting, let me see if I can show you this. There's only circles. And within these six circles are the planetary symbols of Mars, Saturn. They're so small. Mars, Saturn, the Moon, Mercury, Venus, and Jupiter. So the traditional planets. And then, you could imagine that this whole thing is the sun that they are revolving around. So success comes from the integration of the planets, right? The planets are representing different facets of ourselves and how we operate in this world. And success is something that we achieve when we're able to utilize all those parts in a, unified way. So that's looking good. Well, July, we get the Chariot. There's several ways that you could read this, okay? Like the Chariot is a card in which the guy is just moving forward. He cannot go sideways, right? That's also why this is a Cancer card, because Cancer is ruled by crabs. Crabs have a particular way that they can move, right? So there's something similar in regards to the movement of a crab is similarly restricted to the movement of chariot. Anyway, so this could also be about nationalism, right? July, 4th of July, there could be some nationalistic type of things happening. 4th of July, obviously, but like maybe, I don't want to say the beats of war drums, but there could be, right? Like there could be just like rising patriotism, perhaps is the word that I'm looking for. Wow. Okay. So the August card is the Nine of Cups. Look at those cups. They are flowing. This is the card of happiness. So looking at the second row of cards where we go from May to August, they're all pretty good. You got truce, success, the chariots, and happiness. And so at the moment, it's really suggesting that the springtime is going to be the tricky time of the year. I mean, the beginning of the year, there's an adjustment that's happening. Now in September, I got that love card again. Again, the cups are flowing, which is a fantastic upgrade to what we had in April, where the cups are not flowing. So there is something about things coming together in September. There is a flowing of energy, of water, of emotion. Things are good. October rolls around and we have defeat. This is a 5 of Swords. Again, swords are emotions. And yeah, this is really suggesting a period of time in which maybe you just don't have the energy. Maybe our thoughts are running on many different topics. Something goes on and we just don't know how to concentrate. Unfortunately, you know, good can't last, a good period can't last forever. And then we have November. November is the Tower card, and US elections happen in November. So this card, it represents something changing, something that is like out of anyone's any one person's control, right? Like whenever the Tower comes up, it's the same energy as, to me, like a lightning bolt. You can't control the lightning bolt. You can't control the Tower. The Tower will fall. There's nothing you can really do about it. So this to me is about something changing drastically, big news. And yeah, yeah. Um, let's just see what December is. My God, the yo-yo. So the December card is the High Priestess. This is the Moon card. And when you look at the High Priestess, she is just glowing. She has these, this aura around her that just light emanating from her. So this is a card about intuition. It's a card about, yeah, again, similar to it has similar vibes to this unity, um, connection with your intuition, what I think about. And yeah, there's a very motherly nature to, there's some nature in the bottom. So again, it is about connecting to our instincts. Okay. Then I have these 3 other cards. I didn't pull these last time, so this is just something that was off the top of my head. And this is like the general feel, which is really interesting. So these cards, we have peace, the star, and success. It's really interesting. No, that's not victory. It's really interesting, the first note that I had, and I already forget all, in the reading that I had done before this one, I pulled the love card and I also pulled the victory card in addition to the fool. So I thought it was interesting that those cards popped up again. But when I think about these 3 cards, if I'm going to say, the general energy. So again, peace, when I think about peace, there is these opposing sides and they come to an agreement. So this is a moon in Libra card. So again, that need for balance. Yeah. Then we have the star card, which is associated with the astrological sign of Aquarius. So another mental card, right? This is thoughts. This is also associated with Aquarius, which is an air sign, right? And when I think about the star, I think about, in some ways, recognizing your own inner light. Again, I think about this. If you think about astrology, right? Astrology is ruled by Aquarius. And Aquarius is a sign of humanity. But I think part of humanity is kind of recognizing the star in every individual person that you meet. But also in doing that, you have to recognize your own star, your own shining light, so to speak. So perhaps this is a focus either on spirituality or peace to someone who views themselves as a star. I don't know. And victory. Okay, so we have this Jupiter and Leo card. So very showy. All in all, like I feel like if I look at these three cards by themselves, great. Like to me, this is really suggesting something of a possibility, let's say, possibility of a peace, of an agreement in which there's a sense of victory and a sense of like knowing ourselves or connecting to ourselves more. Yeah. So that is the reading. Let me see if I can display all of these things. So overall, I would say that this is like a pretty good reading. The If I think about this from a major arcana standpoint, the major arcana are representing months in which there's more shifts perhaps happening. If I were to look at it that way, then February would be one. And then we have this card over here, July, Chariot. Then we have November and December. So I take back what I said initially about it being like an easy year. So major changes at the beginning of the year. Something's happening. The middle of the year, overall, this is suggesting like pretty good that we get our bearings. The goal is hopefully we go, if we go through something that is shifting our lives or the world or our understanding of things, right? We come to an understanding or we go through something in the middle of the year. And then come October, October, November is now another trickier time of the year. And December does promise something of an integration of it all. And especially if I were to think about the overall moods, often when we think about overall moods of a time period, that is the summation of the time period. And this is like this High Priestess is a fantastic way to end the year. So yeah, there's 4 major Arcana cards out of the 12 here. So I would suggest that, again, to me, whenever I'm reading, the more major Arcana cards that show up, the bigger the shift is, right? If it's just minor Arcana cards, I tend to interpret that as like probably going to be more the same, not major shifts. With 4 of them popping up, again, it does suggest major change. Trying to think if there's anything else I want to say. And again, I think the point being is this. Another point that I just want to like reiterate. This reading that I have about the months, trying to get a general sense of like what the feel might be out in the world. And maybe the news that we're going to read, or maybe like, yeah, the general like sentiments of people that, again, March and April might be months where there's a lot of uncertainty and there's a lot of worry and there's just disappointment. But I think the trick is 2 things. One is what's happening to world leaders or in other countries may not be happening to you. So there's a part of like recognizing that sometimes the world might be burning and you personally might be okay, right? Like for instance, you might have, or during the COVID pandemic, when that was going on, maybe you were in a position in which that was something that you were able to weather. And maybe you were able also to weather it because you had prepared or you had a job that allows you to work remotely or whatever, right? So that's what I'm trying to say is like there might be events that are really dramatic, but sometimes those dramatic events hit individuals differently than the average that we see in the news. So I think it's important to recognize the things that we have influence on, what we have control over in our life, and then put the effort in ways that we can be impactful, ways that we can change, but recognize when things are outside of our control, essentially. Because come November, this is suggesting some major change. Yeah, I think that's it. That might be all I have to say here. Um, so again, if you enjoyed this reading, I really appreciate if you like and subscribe, share the video with other people. If there's particular um, topics that you would like me to do readings on, let me know. Leave a comment and let me know. I'm not looking to do personal readings on these YouTube videos. So if you're asking about your boyfriend, your girl, whatever. That's not what I'm asking for. More about world events or something more metaphysical, but I don't want to do card readings on relationships. So again, thank you for joining me, and I really appreciate it if you lasted this long in the video. And until next time, take care.